good evening. We're going to get started. Thank you. We have one hand up. Do I have more? Give me 5. Use your gavel. All right, thank you for joining us this evening for our regular meeting of the Governing Board. I'm going to call this meeting to order and let the record show that we do have a quorum tonight. And please, before we begin, join me in a moment of silence. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Quintana, are there any changes to the agenda?
Mrs. Wilson, members of the Governing Board, good evening. No changes at this time.
Okay, I'll need a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll move to adopt the agenda. I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, motion passes. I don't believe there's a call to the public. Okay, so we'll go, and there's no special recognition either at this time. We'll go straight to item 5, consent agenda. And are there any items that board members would like pulled? Okay, hearing none, I'll need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda. I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. All right, we are at reports and information items, number 6, opening of school.
Yes, Mrs. Wilson, members of the Governing Board, I'm very pleased to share that due to the hard work and planning of all GSD staff members, we had a great start to the 17-18 school year. District office administrators, including the executive team, were assigned to schools during the first day back. In addition, they were asked to report back what they experienced so we can provide additional support in the future if necessary. Reports were overwhelmingly positive with a few areas to improve on. I plan to bring in the report to all of those individuals out submitted their feedback, and we generated a report, and I was going to show you the report, but I failed to bring it in with me. The following is an overview of what was reported back by district office administrators and members of the executive team. Overall, a concerted effort by all members of the GSD team to be visible, welcoming, helpful, and pleasant was evident. Buildings and grounds that were welcoming and clean. All AC units were working, well-manicured grounds, clean classrooms, hallways, bathrooms, and other facilities. We did have some vandalism at one of our schools the weekend leading up to the opening day of school, but that was quickly addressed before the arrival of children and parents and staff members. Front office areas were less crowded this year due to efforts to increase early registrations and designating areas away from the office area for registration. We can do a better job in some schools to provide signage directing parents and students to registration areas and other areas of the school. Minor issue we can correct. Class lists were posted clearly and in marked areas, and school personnel with binders containing class lists or laptop computers were also available to direct students and parents to classrooms. Staff members were out in large numbers at all schools welcoming students and parents and answering questions. Reports indicate staff members were smiling, welcoming. Most schools, IT team members were out at every site making sure we did not have any connectivity issues. Some schools played welcoming music. One particular school, which dates some of us, had the Welcome Back Cotter theme song playing. And I made the mistake of trying to discuss it with a young lady, new teacher that was next to me. She was too young to remember. Greeters opened car doors, welcomed everyone, and directed individuals to where they needed to go. Some schools had their mascot out in front of the school welcoming students and parents. Staff members were wearing bright safety vests so they could be easily identified, and our students and our parents could go to them if they needed assistance. Some schools had areas where parents could have coffee, juice, a donut, or other snacks after dropping off their children or while waiting to see if their child was making the transition okay, and that's obviously more so our little kindergartners. There is a need, we recognize there is a need for more translators at each school. We have to figure that out, and I think we're certainly okay as it relates to Spanish, but we need translators that can speak some of the other languages represented in our district during this heavy traffic time, and so we'll figure that out. Parking lots were full, but well managed. Parents appeared to be extra patient this year, and I think that's because we planned well and traffic was moving along for the most part. We had very few transportation issues. We did have one bus arriving a little bit late to Glendale Success Academy, and that's the only issue that I'm aware of that was reported to us. Student counts are under projections at some schools and high at one particular school. That's not unusual on day one. We are watching those numbers closely to make sure staffing adjustments are made if needed. Materials for teaching and learning at sites were ready for had been delivered and ready for student use. Routines and procedures were established with students, especially the kindergartens. That's what we saw across the district. Overall, my personal observations and the information reported back indicates our schools were well prepared for the arrival of our students and there was an obvious increase in our efforts to create a positive and welcoming environment. If you have any questions, the executive team and myself will try to answer those for you.
Air conditioning's working and we didn't lose any children, that's good. Huh?
Right. We did have one incident with, I believe, a walker who was, if I'm not mistaken, new to one of our schools, and we did have a very proactive, responsible community member that noticed that something wasn't right with this particular child and was able to assist the school and direct the child and accompany the child back to the school so that we could help put that child in contact with a parent and get that child home safely. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was the only issue we had with students getting to and from school. Is that correct, Mr. Barragan?
Madam Chair, members of the board, the particular example you gave was a student that was actually a pickup. And there was just some confusion, I think, with the individuals on the first day of school. I think we had two students fall asleep on the bus, but they were on the bus, so there was no lost students. And so we're really pleased. I think I've shared that at least since I've been here, this is probably the best opening year that I've seen here, and so we're really pleased with that.
I failed to mention a very important fact. I believe that on Monday, when students arrived, we had two vacant teaching positions, and I believe as of Wednesday, Dr. Goodwin can correct me, all positions are filled at this time. Is that correct?
Okay, excellent.
Cindy or Barbara, anything else that I failed to mention?
Anybody have any comments or?
Oh, sure, I'll comment since I'm the one that has children that go to school. My youngest one saw Mr. Cummings, and so he had to tell her to go to class, and, and so he was able to do his job, but he was out there, and you know, it was nice to just see everyone out, you know, and I saw Miss Emerson out there, you know, helping all sorts of children get to their classes, and, you know, it looked like it was going real smoothly.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I just know to avoid the areas.
Probably didn't.
A lot of traffic.
And then that reminds me, I do want to publicly thank the city of Glendale. We were made aware that we had a construction project that was due to start on Monday near the corner of, is it 55th and Butler? 55th and Butler, right out front on the corner near American School. And they were very gracious and willing to adjust the schedule to allow us to start school this week and start that project at some other time. And then over near Sunset Vista, I believe the gas company in cooperation with the city was working on another project, and they've adjusted their work schedule to start after students arrive and to quit their work day before students are dismissed, to allow us to allow that we not have the congestion that those projects can create. So were very appreciative, and they were all very gracious in recognizing the importance of getting off to a good start. And as I shared with the individuals I spoke to, our intent is never to cause any delays or cost the city or anyone else additional money or to delay projects. And they said that was not an issue and that they were happy to work with us and help us through that. So I again want to publicly thank the city. They were very helpful and understanding.
All right, so we'll move on then. We don't have any action items tonight, so we'll move to 8, future meetings and events.
Mrs. Wilson, members of the governing board, I have not spoken to Mrs. Segarra-Jones, and I'll ask her at this time, but in speaking to Mr. Barragan and Dr. Goodwin, I don't believe they have any pressing issues that would require a second meeting this month. Mrs. Segarra-Jones may have something or feel differently, but if we don't meet for a second time this month, we do have one time-sensitive issue that is not anything that would require us to meet in person. So I do ask that we consider sometime in the next week or two to have a quick 5 to 10 minute telephonic meeting, if it's acceptable to the governing board, to address that one issue. Okay. And it was something that we became aware of, but it was too late due to posting requirements that we weren't able to get it on tonight's meeting. A minor personnel issue that surfaced yesterday after the time that we were no longer allowed to revise the agenda.
So we'll hear from Liz right on.
Yes.
I have one last board member that can coordinate with about the 26th and perhaps do it again.
Well, Liz, yes, the answer is Liz can coordinate that. But Mrs. Segarra-Jones, you don't have, your department doesn't have anything pressing.
Is this the proper time to bring up the timing for the board workshop? Have we heard back from anyone?
There's one last person who can coordinate with that.
Okay. Are we looking at the 26th?
So far, everything else is there.
So Ms. Powell has indicated that everyone else is available for that new board workshop date, aside from communicating or receiving confirmation from one board member. That's all we're waiting on, but everyone else is fine with that date.
Okay. Anyone else have anything to add? All right, let's move to 8B, agenda item requests. Any agenda item requests from board members?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Aldama?
Thank you. Yeah, and having a conversation when I walked in with one of our staff members, I'd like to request that we look at our iPads that were assigned to the board members, look at updating those. I think they're about 5 years old now. And the second thing is report back to the board whether or not we can implement the use of board docs here. Give us a review and then whether or not we can use those.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I still want an update on our policy regarding student funds. That hasn't been updated yet from a long time ago.
Regarding funds, extracurricular activity funds.
The outside groups fundraising, that piece.
The what?
Parent groups.
Oh.
Like PTO and other
Yeah.
auxiliary group funds. Okay.
All right. Believe it or not, we are at our last item, 9. Well, I think this is record time, isn't it? I said 20 minutes, and we're going to stay within 20 minutes. So, well, maybe not. Mr. Quintana?
No, Mrs. Wilson, members of the governing board, aside from what I mentioned as far as our start of the week and start of the school year, again, it's been an entire team effort, and everyone has been extremely thoughtful and conscientious about what we do and don't do to create a welcoming, safe, and pleasant environment for our parents and our children. And I just want to publicly thank the entire group of employees and members of the team for their hard work, and also again thank everyone who had anything to do with the welcome back event. And we have heard a large number of positive comments and remarks regarding that. And again, thank Mr. Aldama and the City of Glendale for making that venue available to us. We also received some very positive comments regarding the venue and how nice it was to stay in Glendale, and also the spacious but yet intimate environment that venue provided us. So I want to thank everyone, including the city and Mr. Aldama, for helping facilitate that for us.
Okay. All right, the governing board report, we'll start with Mrs. Smith.
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Ms. Bartels?
I can't say enough about our guest speaker at our Welcome Back celebration, and even comments that different employees throughout the district have made, you know, whether it was their school's posting or the district posting. It definitely resonated with our staff. But I'd like to do a shout out. We've done 2 of these in the last 2 weeks, and it's a live book reading on our Facebook page. It was awesome. And keep sharing it, because it doesn't matter who reads to a child as long as somebody does, and it helps our kids out. So I just want to do a shout out for that.
Mrs. Bartels, I understand that Mr. Cummings is looking for guest readers, so maybe you as more board members can read one evening and
maybe we can do the 2-part poems, Ms. Smith.
Absolutely. Hi, Mr. Aldama?
None at this time.
Okay. Well, I really don't have anything either, except God bless the kindergarten teacher. So with that, I'll need a motion
to adjourn?
Yes. Second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes. Have a good night.